Welcome back to the Abundance Alchemist, your quiet space to remember who you are. Tonight, we speak gently about you're not greedy for wanting more than enough, not as something new to learn, but as a remembering. Let your body settle, let your mind drift. There's nothing to prove here tonight. Nothing to fix or force, just this space to return to the root of enoughness. The kind of enough that the soul both longs for and already knows. Somewhere deep beneath the noise, what if this was the night it finally landed? What if resting was receiving? What if your dream life wasn't far, just quiet? There's nothing you need to change about yourself to deserve comfort in this moment. You don't need to try, you don't need to earn this. This is a sacral place where more does not threaten your goodness. Release any tightness in your jaw, the little places your shoulders might carry the memory of too much. You don't have to hold the world up, not here. You are held, the rhythm is always the same here, soft, slow, kind. We do this every night. If this helps you remember who you truly are. You're always welcome here. Let the air be easy. Your breath simple and low in your belly. Notice the space between. Notice the whisper that says you don't need to guard yourself this time. It's safe now. The idea that wanting more is wrong often lives where kindness and need have been mixed up. Muddled, cross-wired in memories and old conversations. Let this space untangle that slowly, like sunlight easing across a cold room. What you want, more than enough, is not dangerous to anyone, not to the world. Not even to the tender parts inside you that ache for approval. It's safe now. You are not greedy for wanting comfort, or for looking forward to beautiful things showing up with ease. There's no punishment waiting in the quiet for your wishing, if you feel restless. If your mind tries to wander back toward old defenses or looping thoughts, bring it back to the sound here, back to the hush that asks nothing of you. Let this echo, see if you can notice the faint sensation of letting go. Right around your heart, just for now, no one is watching you here. There's no test being graded in the night. There is only this soft re-anchoring, again and again. And to the knowing that more than enough is your birthright. Let your breathing become slower. Maybe there's a gentle rise and fall. Maybe something inside you feels softer, the first sign of a deeper release, even if your mind is still busy. That's part of the remembering, too. You don't have to be ready. There's no timeline, no rush. You're welcome here, exactly as you are. Let this be the first breath of being home. Even if it's unfamiliar, let the truth settle. Wanting more than enough, is not a flaw, it's a flame you carry, quietly, from every ancestor that survived because they believed more was possible. Release the tiny urge to try, feel the mattress beneath you, real or imagined. The safety and heaviness of being truly supported. You don't need to hold it, no expectation. No one is measuring your progress. If you feel a little water in your eyes or a sigh moving through your body, notice how natural that is, how safe it is to receive comfort after wanting for so long. There's a rhythm to being remembered. It comes slow, it comes soft. It comes through repetition, the same as waves shaping shorelines. This is not performance. This is homecoming. You are allowed to want, you are allowed to need, you are allowed to exhale all the way, you are allowed. This space is sacred because it's yours. You don't need to search for approval. Let this echo maybe. As you settle in, you notice your body finding the places where it's been braced. Let those places loosen, just a little. You are not greedy for wanting peace, for calling in safety, and for longing for the freedom to receive without apology. No one can shame you in this space. The old rules do not travel here. Let your mind believe what your soul already knows, in softness, in wanting. Sin slow and gentle returns to enough tonight. We remember the difference between empty wishing and sacred receiving. We remember that longing itself is a holy thing, that plenty is natural, not proof that you are already home. Even if you drift, you don't need to stay awake. Some part of you is already receiving. There's a quiet undercurrent here, a way the air feels different when you soften around yourself, when you let the rush leave your nervous system. And the old story of just enough drifts to the far edges of your mind. There's a hush that arrives as you lay down, not just to sleep, but to remember what has always whispered beneath survival. You can almost feel the traces of it, those moments in your day when a bigger dream flickered, and for a second you reached for it before some old script snapped back, reeling you into what you thought you should settle for. The body holds this, a clutch of breath in the chest, a pause before wanting, a stillness before asking for more. Let it soften here. Desire isn't a mistake. It never was. None of it stands as evidence against you. The wanting for more, for beauty, rest, freedom, love, or a new chapter, it pulses in you because you are alive. It's as natural as breathing in, as exhaling under moonlight. Longing is not some symptom to outgrow. It is the evidence of your soul still lit, still moving, still wild enough to believe that safety comes with expansion. Even if you drift, this still lands. Many of us learn to be small. Rewarded for refusing seconds, praised for keeping quiet instead of asking, told stories about humility that really just meant hiding what hurt, scared, or hungered. It's not your fault the old survival script runs this deeply. For generations, desire was a luxury not afforded, and the body remembers. The mind clings to lack like an old blankie, frayed but familiar. Like winter coats in spring, survival becomes a habit, even when the sun is back. You don't need to hold it. Imagine a seed pressed under hard earth. Imagine it doesn't know what warmth means, only the press of soil and darkness. No blame here, the seed survives, waits out the frost, keeps its life small enough not to risk. But the sun comes anyway, so it reaches and becomes more than it knew it was allowed to be. Survival was the old coat. Now you can drop it by the door. Let this echo still. The part of you that remembers hunger or waiting for crumbs might tighten as you dream. The heart might ask, is it wrong to want? Some stories say so, but nature shows another truth. Rivers do not apologize for the banks they reshape. Trees expand past last year's ring. The ocean never asks if it's taking up too much space. Let it soften here. You are not too much. Wanting more than the minimum, more than just survival, isn't some dangerous flaw, but the start of coming home. Old fear is clever, dressing up enoughness in guilt. It will tell you to shrink, to tuck away joy so no one gets jealous, to ration delight so you always seem humble. But this isn't safety. It's staying in the cave after sunrise. Even this is part of the remembering. There's another way. You can breathe with your wanting, celebrate each spark of hunger as evidence that your soul is awake. Guilt for wanting fades under the light of self-compassion. Each exhale can be a small invitation to receive, to expand, to rest as much as you need, even if no one else does. That rawness in your chest, it's just the call to grow out of old armor. Let this echo when guilt creeps in, when you feel you must apologize for wanting. Remember the bear who doesn't apologize for honey, or the daffodils that turn toward the brightest patch. Even your breath is a cycle of release and return. Not settling is proof that something ancient lives in you, still yearning for the garden beyond the fence. It's safe now. Notice how your pulse eases when you imagine a world where nobody needs to defend their wanting. In this softness, more is simply natural, the forest floor blooming wild, unconcerned with scarcity. The mind that once braced for measurement and permission now learns to drift, letting desire trickle in, innocent and uncaged. You don't need to hold it, survival-only thinking. It is like building fires only when you freeze, never because you love the glow. Like packing a life into a suitcase for a trip that never ends, always halfway out the door, never arriving. Or trading empty cups for drops of water, forgetting the well was always yours to use. These patterns once protected you, but the season is changing now. Let it soften here tonight, you remember. Abundance is not a performance. It is your inheritance. The gentle ache for more is not dangerous. It's a compass. It listens for the quiet hum of what still wants to be. There's room to want, to outgrow, to begin again. Even as you sleep, your cells hum to the music of more. Release your hold on old lack. You are allowed to want. You are allowed to want. Let this echo. There's a story the world tells, tucked into small rooms and rushed mornings, about how anything truly valuable must be earned through ache, how the deepest kinds of wealth seem to require something in exchange, paid out from the self. You may know this quietly, somewhere behind your eyes, where memory hangs its oldest coats. The idea that effort and exhaustion are proof that you cared enough, that to rest, to let something feel light, must mean you're missing out, not quite measuring up. It is strangely easy to believe that depletion, not delight, is the currency people notice. Some part of you may remember the first time a parent or teacher gave you more praise for struggle than for ease, or why every gold star felt a little heavier than joy. It happens softly, the tying of your value to how much you can bear, how late you can stay up, how many plates you can carry in one delicate hand. Let it soften here. Even now, if there's a twinge of guilt that rises when things come easily, notice that old echo. The voice that says, surely it can't be right, not if it doesn't hurt a little, the hours you clocked as worth, the tiredness mistaken for proof of giving enough. These beliefs sink quietly into the roots, deep enough that sometimes, even your breath wants to work harder, just to deserve being here. You don't need to hold it tonight. Let's lay that story down. Imagine the body, not as a tool to prove something, but as a sacred guest house. Each muscle, each ache, each soft place is worthy, even especially when at rest. What if wealth was just waiting for you to curl up, unguarded, in a quiet patch of sunlight? What if ease isn't a luxury, but a portal? What if the truest part of you wants your life to feel less like a hurdle, more like an exhale? Let this echo. There's nothing wrong with wanting things to come gently. The deeply empathic, the soul-led, the ones who see between the words, you have learned to carry feelings the world never saw. You hold space, you soften sharpness in others, you listen long after the conversation is over. Sometimes the world feels so loud, so busy, that your gentleness becomes a secret you keep even from yourself. It's safe now. What if payment for you looks nothing like pain? What if your enoughness is not measured by hours or hustle or heaviness at all? Sometimes letting life feel easy, not numb, but truly easy, is its own act of courage. You do not become less valuable with less effort. The sun is no less bright just because it rises without alarm. The river does not apologize for how it finds its way around stone. Even the tide never asks if it could work harder. Let it soften here. Maybe some part of you, the child who danced, the friend who found gold in pebbles, the dreamer who felt whole without a single check mark, remembers a different kind of exchange. One where rest was not a pause from life, but the very portal into the gifts you are here to give, and perhaps tonight. As you lay down, the invisible scales can tilt a little. Away from proving and back toward receiving. You don't need to hold it. Tenderness does not need to be traded for approval. Ease is not a measure of doing less, it is a return to the nature of your soul. What if your sacred rhythm emerged not from pushing, but from allowing? Like the way a seed opens, not with effort, but with right timing, like the wind, carrying dandelion wishes farther than hands ever could, like breath, always returning, always enough. Let this echo, you are not less worthy because it feels peaceful. It is safe to let abundance come quietly, to let sacred rest become the threshold to even more than you are dreaming. The world has not always known how to celebrate your softness, but the true wealth, the wealth that feels like home, that turns work into devotion and gives back in slow, golden ripples, that is waiting for you in the softness you've been told was a distraction. Even this is part of the remembering. Sometimes abundance feels like a bright light shining in a room your body never thought it was allowed to enter. It's strange how something so wanted can feel so sharp, so loud, so much. The heart aches for freedom and fullness, but the body remembers the cost of stretching too fast. Sometimes expansion feels hotter than joy, and the nervous system wonders, is it safe to want more? There's a quiet honesty here, the edges of comfort, the boundary of thresholds, the place where growth almost feels like loss. Even the most loving rise can feel like leaving something behind. So your insides brace, the breath gets quick, the mind searches for the old doorway, a way back to smallness, to what it knows. It's gentle to acknowledge this, nothing broken. Just the wisdom of a body that learned how to keep you safe by shrinking, hiding, pausing before the next step out. Like a seed pressing softly against the soil, remembering the dark before the bloom sometimes. The familiar ache of limitation is safer than the unknown invitation of light. Let it soften here, desire feels beautiful. But for deep, awake souls, it can also be a trigger. The body wants to belong, but newness signals a risk. To be seen, to succeed, to receive, it asks old memories to loosen, outdated oaths to be rewritten. It means breathing into spaces where your ancestors held their breath, where your younger self believed safety was only found in less. Expansion is the truth, but fear is also true. There are nights when the more you long for feels like opening hands in a storm, not knowing which way to lean. Sometimes, the body tenses under the possibility of having it all. Not because you don't want it, but because having more means leaving the crowd, changing a role, inviting new mirrors of self. Let this echo, the body is wise, even when it aches. It holds the old archives, the flashbacks of famine, scarcity programming handed down like an heirloom. There's no shame in hesitating at the door of plenty. There is just a pulse, a whisper, protect, protect, protect. So what if you could thank the part that's cautious? What if you could love the slow unfolding, the shaking hands that open anyway? Receiving is a nervous system event, not a mindset shift. It's the safe warmth of a blanket pulled around you on a chilly night, the way your skin softens under gentle sunlight, the relief of hearing. You get to go slow, you get to keep all of you safe. It's safe now. Inside the word abundance is a memory of times when too much meant too dangerous. Some part within learned to flinch, to step back, to camouflage in rooms with sharp edges. When life feels like more, the old alarms sound, the heart beats quick, the lungs shallow, the jaw tenses. Even restlessness can be a form of old protection. Sometimes, receiving is simply remembering how to exist in a softer climate, letting in air, letting warmth in slowly. Like a window cracked on a spring day, letting only what feels safe come through. Let it soften here. Sometimes your body will ask for permission to expand again and again. That's okay. There is wealth in the repetition. A trust comes slowly, not because you are slow, but because healing is patient by nature. Spirit wants you whole, not just abundant. To receive without re-traumatizing, practice little openings, tiny welcomes. Soft yeses whispered beneath the louder world. This might look like a gentle reaching, a sigh, the comfort of your own touch. It's safe now. Let your mind notice the small cues of safety, like the way your breath starts to deepen in a safe room, the weight of a cozy blanket hugging your body, the gentle hum of a cup of tea held between your palms. Let your skin notice the softness of sheets, the familiar scent that lingers in your space, the quiet hush that tells your whole system, here you can open. Sometimes, receiving safety is not a grand event, but 1,000 tiny senses quietly saying, "This is home." Even this is part of the remembering. There's an ache that's older than memory, the kind that sits quiet at the bottom of wanting, a sense that in order to reach for more, for beauty, for ease, you must first be heavy. That's the flavor of guilt handed down, not your voice, but old weather moving through the room, and you feel its chill sometimes when something good is near. You didn't make this ache. It moved through generations, passed quietly, like a story told by candlelight, meant to keep the family safe or holy or small enough to belong. It sounded like, don't ask for too much, don't shine too bright, don't receive unless you've bled for it, and maybe it's wrapped itself around desire, so every hope now feels suspect. But what if those words were just a memory, not a map? What if guilt was not a sign of your goodness, but simply a pause between songs? Let it soften here. There's permission in the air tonight. To remember, guilt is not the proof of your compassion or a precondition for prosperity. Wanting more, glowing with possibility, is not greedy. It's native, like birdsong at dawn. It's the way flowers open when the sun shows up. This isn't about earning abundance by carrying old stones. It's about resonance, letting what is true in you hum out without apology. When you notice guilt rising, you could say softly, again and again, it's safe to receive. It's safe to receive. Even this is part of the remembering. Guilt has long been treated like a gatekeeper to joy, but joy was never locked. No one else holds the key. The way you gasp at beauty, the relief you feel when help comes, this is your natural abundance showing through. Pain is not what sanctifies your pleasure. Suffering is not a currency you must spend before the door opens. If the voice of guilt tries to measure your worth tonight, you can let it float by, like clouds over water, their reflection shifting, never touching the deep. Let this echo. Think back to a moment when you turned away from something easy, something good, because you thought you hadn't earned it. How quiet did the room get? Whose silence was that? Maybe it wasn't yours. Maybe it was a chain meant to anchor someone else long ago, and every time you say yes to what wants to bless you, the link loosens. You can let guilt pass through, like weather changing, like sap rising in spring. Even the ache teaches what matters. You are allowed, and always have been, to be glad simply because you are here. Prosperity is not something you earn by disowning yourself. Prosperity is the natural next breath when you let yourself belong. You don't need to hold it. Tonight, as you drift, notice where the old stories still linger. Does your heart wait for permission? Does your breath catch before you laugh, before you dream bigger? With every soft inhale, let this new echo settle. It's safe to receive. Over and over, it's safe to receive. Like sunrays repeating on the same patch of skin, this new feeling can settle into the body, outlasting the old chills. Each breath is proof. Even if you drift, this still lands. Inherited traps unwind in small ways, like grass recovering after being pressed flat, like laughter in a house that was once too quiet. When you catch yourself asking if it's okay to let in more love, more wealth, more ease, remember tonight. There is no moral badge for staying small. There is no medal for denying yourself beauty. The real memory is deeper. You are woven for resonance, for belonging, for abundance that comes without strings attached. Let this echo. You can rest now. Somewhere inside, the permission you needed has already arrived. A prosperity is not earned through pain, it's remembered through resonance. Breathe and let this become your new inheritance. It's safe to receive, it's safe to receive, it's safe to receive. There's a quiet truth that lives underneath your skin, a truth so soft it barely stirs, and yet it holds the blueprint of everything you've ever longed to become. Some of what you seek, you have never seen spoken. Some of what you carry, no one in your family named out loud. Still, it's here, a hope for peace with abundance, for calm, honest wealth that doesn't ripple with worry or shame, even now while you sleep. It matters because no map was left on the kitchen table. No one whispered the code for how to let love and plenty live in the same room. But there is an ancient invitation stretching through your lineage, an unbroken stream asking, could you be the one? Could you root where others ran, soften where others tensed, open where others closed? Like a garden that grew wild where nobody tilled, like water finding the only crack in the stones, like the feeling you get when the sun finds your face for the first time after a long, gray winter. It's safe now. You are holding a torch even while you sleep, one that generations before you could not hold, one that your parents might have only dreamed of, or run from, or reached for with shaking hands. Your body remembers the ache, the stiff-shouldered, jaw-tight hope that one day it might be different. This matters because your nervous system is learning a new way to rest inside receiving. Because your presence is correcting old tapes that said, this is not for us. Because your dreams, even quiet and unwitnessed, are doing repair work on the very story of your blood. Like the way roots deepen after a storm has passed, like rain pooling where it was needed most, like the first moment a caged bird senses the latch has loosened, let this echo, there's permission right here to outgrow what held you close. To become the first to relax around money, to let abundance live inside your bones instead of only your imagination. You can gently surpass your lineage, not as rejection, but as restoration. Why does it matter? Because being the first is a sacred thing. Someone had to go first. Someone had to let the story shift direction, just so that the future could feel different. Someone had to believe, even while sleeping, that peaceful wealth could be safe to carry. Like a lighthouse shining out past every old harbor, like footprints appearing in new soft earth, like a prayer forming in the dark. Even when no one's listening, you don't need to hold it. This is the work of the generational alchemist, not a heavy burden, but a remembering that chooses to transform what was passed down. To take what was wound tight with fear and tension, and let it unfurl, slow and soft, inside you. You become the first calm field where past and future can meet in peace. The echo ripples through, you sleeping, undoing centuries. Even this is part of the remembering. Stillness is not something you have to earn, not some hidden reward at the far end of overwhelm. It's an exhale you're allowed before anything begins. Even now, in this quiet, you are allowed to drop the defense, lay down the armor, let the world spin on without your hands holding it. Rest isn't running, it's remembering. It's returning to the home you never truly left. To be still is an act of listening, soft, slow, like the hush of snowfall outside a window. Stillness is where you can finally hear the ache you tried to outrun, or the hope just beneath your chest. There's no judgment in this gentle pause, only room. A space wide enough for every feeling you pretended not to have, every desire you told yourself could wait. Like a garden that grows taller when left alone, like a tide that pulls back just to gather itself, becoming more whole, like a heart that only finds its real beat when you aren't making it prove something. The stillness is how you multiply your own energy, safely, quietly, endlessly. Let it soften here. Sacred rest is not laziness. It's an act of trust. It's you saying, I believe something moves for me even when I stop moving for it. I trust that seeds grow roots beneath dark earth, that answers find me in dream space, not just hustle space, that wealth renews itself in the silence between decisions. It's safe now. The old story tried to name stillness a failure, as if pausing meant you missed the boat. But what if the boat was always waiting, knowing you'd return? What if your value never depended on movement? What if the very wisdom you want only grows in this soft, non-doing? Like a river, patient after the rains, like spring bulbs, hidden but alive like a wild animal. Safe in the den, let the stillness gather in your bones. You don't need to hold it. Every time you rest, you are confirming devotion to your soul. Every time you stop chasing, life remembers how to dance to you, not the other way around. And stillness is a signal to the universe, a little flag that says, I love myself enough to pause. I matter enough to care how I feel. I am not measured by exhaustion, not tallied in tasks. Let this echo stillness is not separate from abundance. It is the softest wealth, the kind that reorders chaos quietly from the inside out. It is investment in deep clarity, the sharper knowing that lands when the world is allowed to hush. Like a pond after rain, clearing with every breath, like a fire that warms best when not fussed with, like morning light, gentle on closed eyes. Even this is part of the remembering. It isn't just about waiting or hiding, but about hearing yourself again, undisturbed. So tonight, let stillness be your signal that you are safe to receive, to rest, to let life bloom in ways you don't need to micromanage. It is safe now to follow the quiet path inside, the one only you know, the one that knows you too. Nothing is lost when you rest. Everything returns. Let it soften here. There's a kind of tired that doesn't heal with just one good night's sleep. You know it, the one that wraps around your bones, presses into the places memory hides. The kind of fatigue that came not just from doing, but from believing you had to earn even this breath. So tonight, let it be different. Some part of you decided, quietly, that you will never again shape your life around depletion. That exhaustion will no longer be your price of entry. This is the threshold, the one your heart already sensed was waiting. Not because you're running away from the old pattern, but because something softer in you is ready to stay. Will this speak to the tired places in you? Even if the weariness is still heavy in your chest, you can listen without changing anything. Now just breathe, even now, especially now you're safe to hear this next part. You don't need to force it. Release what feels too tight. Let this echo, wealth has never required your undoing. The world may have told you otherwise, that to become you needed to unravel, that to reach for more you had to first lose yourself. But this was never true. Not in the quiet spaces, not in the places where sunlight lands on your skin after a long rain, not when a hummingbird hovers, remembering nectar without searching. Like the tide reshaping the shore without hurry, like the old oak tree holding its rings, never asking permission to thrive, like a lantern left burning for you on a porch that never doubts you will return. This is how abundance waits, not demanding anything you don't willingly give. It's safe now to uncouple your worth from the places you've been wrung out. You are not the aftermath of overgiving. You are not just the echo of other people's needs. Your capacity is not meant for emptying. Tonight, remember, there are lives where wealth and ease belong in the same sentence. This matters because tiredness is not your truest legacy. Rest is not laziness, it's the reclaiming of rhythm. It's trust, lived out as softness. Like the gentle river learning its shape over slow years, like a favorite blanket holding warmth across chill seasons, like the first morning you woke and forgot to brace for the day. These are the moments your soul remembers how to belong to itself, without burning out. You don't need to hold it. See how the world keeps turning, even when you lie still. There's a sweet rebellion in refusing to collapse just to prove you're worthy. You can let the old story unravel. It's allowed. Notice how even the moon waxes and wanes, even the roses close each dusk to begin again. There is power in the pause, in the inhale before offering. Like a garden that grows by resting in winter, like the way water knows when to yield, and when to carve stones like the touch on your back as you fall asleep, a quiet promise you are not forgotten. Even this is part of the remembering. You may still feel fatigue rise up, unbidden at the thought of change. That's okay. There's nothing to fix. Your body isn't wrong for growing tired. Your spirit isn't broken for wishing it was easier. That desire for ease, for spaciousness, is your birthright surfacing. Trust the pulse beneath your tiredness, the one that says there is more to this life, and that it need not cost your aliveness. Every time you soften into bed, every sigh that leaves your lips, you reclaim a small territory from exhaustion. Like a sunbeam warming stone after a cold night, like a quiet harbor holding every weary boat, like an old song that still brings you home, even after everything has changed. Let this softness wrap around your heart. You don't need to earn what you already are. Let it soften here. There's nothing in wealth that requires your depletion. The more you unhook those beliefs, the more space you make for a different kind of richness, one that feels like breathing, not bracing. A richness that moves like roots beneath the earth, unseen but ever-growing. That rises slow, like honey spreading across warm bread, like laughter that bubbles up when you least expect it, like the trust in your own belonging, even without proof. This is what waits for you, not another mountain to climb, but a field to rest in, where fullness is allowed, where you are met, not measured, where your enoughness is never up for debate. You don't need to hold the day anymore. Let it go. Even if sleep comes slowly, this decision to refuse being wrung out moves in you now. There's nothing you need to do to prove your readiness. Just allow the remembering, wealth and rest together. Like sunlight pooling on your skin after a long winter, like breath entering your body, asking nothing but to be received. Like the promise you made to yourself when you decided to stay soft, no matter what the world asked. This too is abundance. No striving, no depletion. Only the quiet knowing you are worth more than exhaustion, always have been. Let this echo, it's quiet again, and somehow the world is gentle tonight. The journey you've taken in words, in memory, in quiet opening meets you here, right at the edge of what comes next. You've touched the ache of hiding, felt the longing just to be seen, wandered in the soft tension of moving forward while honoring where you've been. Every reflection, every breath, every truth gently given, all of it brought you here. You are asked nothing. There is no pressure to perform, only the softest invitation to let yourself, your whole self, be breathed into the night. The sacredness of visibility is not in being watched, it's in being known, even if only by yourself. Like the moon who never asks if she is bright enough, or the tide as it returns to the shore again and again, embraced just for returning, let yourself feel that safety is woven through this remembering. The wind does not announce itself, but it touches every surface. That is how your soul wants to move. Quiet, real, recognizable, without pageantry. You don't need to hold it. The stories of hiding, of shrinking, were protection once, lanterns on uncertain roads. But now it's safe to honor them as part of your growing. Not all armor must be thrown away. Some can be set gently by the fire, thanked, then released with a breath. Even this is part of the remembering. A flow returns where self is allowed to appear. Just as dawn doesn't rush or apologize, there is a sacred rightness to letting light in. Being visible is never about standing above. It is about standing within, knowing that your presence shifts the air, makes room, gives others silent permission. You don't need to remember this by morning. Confidence and humility are companions, not strangers. Confidence is warmth at your core. Humility is the knowing that every light is borrowed. The sun holds up the wildflowers and the grass without boasting or bowing, both radiant, both belonging. Let this echo, story, skin, doubt, hope, all coexisting. The trees do not argue about who gets the sun. They grow close and tall, each visible, each wholly necessary. Your visibility isn't a declaration, it is a returning. It is breathing more deeply into the place you already occupy. Breathe if you find yourself doubting. Remember how rivers carve valleys by simply showing up. How a single small candle changes the room. How a gentle, unwavering voice marks the difference between loneliness and fellowship. Even this is part of the remembering. It is safe now to be seen for real. To allow your dreams to be lit from within, not hidden beneath the usual carefulness. The ocean does not shrink when watched, it becomes more itself. This is not performance, it is permission. Permission to allow wholeness to be visible, to let confidence rise naturally when humility is honored, because neither is absence of the other. Both are evidence of presence. Let that be the rhythm you remember. You don't need to hold it. Just notice the way the body softens when given room. The sacredness of your light is simple. It just is. No proof, no explanation. Like dusk draped in gold or dew on new grass. If there's any lesson, let it be this. You do not have to become visible. You have always been. The journey isn't over. It circles back and forward, the same way the stars do not vanish at sunrise. They wait quietly to be seen again. Your soul knows the way home, and every moment you breathe into your visibility, you become the welcome you've longed for. Even now, as you rest, remember, you didn't have to force a thing. You belong to this softness, to this night, to yourself. And the world is fuller for your gentle, holy becoming. Let this echo. You don't need to remember this by morning. Your body already has. Picture this. You are standing in a field where the grass shines the color of late afternoon honey. Every step you take, the earth welcomes you, steady and real under your feet. There is a gentle warmth all around, like the world itself is holding you. Saying, "Here, you belong, you are not here to prove anything. You are not here to earn a place in this quiet, you are already woven into it. Just as you are, tall wildflowers bend and brush softly against your legs, somewhere far off. A river sings its easy song, knowing that its flow can't be revoked. Only trusted, it's safe here. Every breeze wraps around your shoulders like a gentle reminder that enoughness does not come and go. It just is. Imagine yourself lowering into the golden, soft grass, the way your body settles. The way you exhale without resistance, as if the world itself has always had room for exactly you, and you notice. The grass isn't afraid of being too much or too little. It simply grows. The sun doesn't question if it deserves to shine. It simply gives light again and again. It's safe to release even this, is part of the remembering, now. With the field quiet all around you, let these truths come in. Like a warm breeze that only ever brings you home. I am already enough, I am already enough, my value isn't at risk. No matter what happens next, my value isn't at risk. No matter what happens next, being whole isn't something I can lose, being whole isn't something I can lose. Who I am is always welcome here, who I am is always welcome here. Being resourced is my natural state, being resourced is my natural state. It's safe to trust my own enoughness, even when the world forgets. It's safe to trust my own enoughness, even when the world forgets. Trusting my enoughness can feel like letting the warm grass hold all of me. No matter the weather, or like watching the sky stay blue behind every cloud, waiting without worry, not asking for permission to belong. Sometimes it feels like sitting with someone who loves you, not for what you bring or what you do, but because even in silence you are already right. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. Welcome back to the Abundance Alchemist, your quiet space to remember who you are tonight. We speak gently about desire as sacred communication, not as something new to learn, but as a remembering. What if this was the night it finally landed? The night something true wasn't just an idea, but a safe sensation. What if resting was receiving? What if your dream life wasn't far, just quiet, waiting for you when the world goes still? We do this every night, just you, a soft whisper, and the loneliness draining from your chest. If this helps you remember who you truly are, you're always welcome here. You don't need to stay awake. Some part of you is already receiving. Beneath every worry, beyond all shoulds and shouldn'ts, there is a wanting, but let's call it something softer. Let's call it an ache, a reaching, a magnet beneath your ribcage. This isn't greed. This isn't some error in your programming. This is your linchpin, your compass, your intimate signal from the part that is most alive in you. It's safe now. Most of us were trained out of it. Taught to over-explain, to downplay the sparks in our chest, to disguise wanting as self-sacrifice, to bury desire under duty and politeness. But the reach, yes, that gentle bud leaning toward light, remains. It grows quietly inside you, like a dandelion pressing up through a crack. Even when you don't water it, even when you pretend you don't see it, even this is part of the remembering. What if desire was divine? Could you let it be holy? Could you trust some deep intelligence in you knows what joy feels like and risks telling the truth, even when it scares you? This isn't danger, it's devotion. Not a tantrum, but a ceremony. Let it soften here. Somewhere along the way, we confused abundance with excess, as if any wanting was proof you'd done life wrong. And so we feared the word want. We exchanged it for be grateful or good enough. But longing is a lit candle, sacred yearning. Longing is a kind of worship. one the soul practices even when the mind is quiet. Let this echo, like a garden that leans toward sun it cannot see, like rain clouds collecting quietly above fields, like the hush before birds sing in the dawn, desire waits gently for your trust. It grows with attention and shrinks with scolding. It does not demand, a true yearning hums rather than shouts. Sometimes it just rests, soft as moss at the roots of your old beliefs. You don't need to hold it. Tonight, as your body relaxes, can you allow yourself to want? Or maybe to let something beautiful want you. Can you witness longing not as a breach, but as a bridge? Each wish is an old friend knocking, hoping you'll invite them in. And can you see each ache for more, not as a threat to what is, but as a signpost toward what could unfold? Even this is part of the remembering. Picture it, the gentle unfurling of a leaf to sunlight it's never questioned. The ocean tide returning again and again, never ashamed of longing for the shore. Or a child reaching for a hand in the dark, not because something is missing, but because connection is natural. This is the ceremony of wanting, or maybe of welcoming. Let your heart remember the language. It's safe now. Desire is a soft knock at the inside of your ribcage. Tonight, you're invited to answer, to let the invitation echo throughout your rest. No one can tune this instrument except you. The sound of I want is the sound of I am ready. Wanting, or loving, or remembering, or tending, let whichever word feels safest repeat softly inside you now. Let it soften here. What if you could trust your yearning? What if, when you sense the ember inside, you didn't panic, but offered it more air? Imagine fanning the flame, not to burn the house down, but to warm your quietest places. There is no guilt here, only a remembering. You don't need to hold it. If all abundance was safe, would you let yourself experience longing as a poem, not a problem? Would you let it bloom in your belly? Imagine every craving, every pulse toward more, is really the soul pointing quietly toward what it already claims. Even this is part of the remembering. There's a new word waiting. Maybe longing, maybe inviting, maybe devotion. Let it arise in you. You don't have to chase it nor manage it. Breathe. If you notice a yearning, let it be the bell that calls you back to your center, not your shame. Let desire be a gentle breeze, not a storm, not a command. It arrives softly, opening, blossoming, landing. Let it echo. Every soft ache is a ceremony. Each longing is an honoring. No need to contain it, analyze it, or explain it. Let it exist as it is. The truest wants, the sacred invitations, are gentle. They whisper, repeat, and circle back, patient as dusk. It's safe now, tonight. You don't need to force your wanting into words. It can be a color, a texture, a quiet pulse in your chest. Rest in it like grass beneath a moving sky. There is nothing broken here. To want to honor that tug is the evidence you are still alive, still part of the sacred cycle. Let this echo. Even longing for sleep is sacred. Even longing for peace, for clarity, for connection. Each wish, no matter how small, is the body showing itself love. Let desire be the bridge. Each ache, every wish, is an invitation to come home again. Let it soften here. Picture yourself in a quiet room, night gently falling around you. The silence feels warm, like a heavy blanket pulled over tired shoulders. Every sound grows distant. There are soft pillows behind your neck, a gentle hum in the air, and you notice the window is cracked open. Cool air slips in, tasting like rain. Moonlight spills across the bed, but never asks you to chase it. You are exactly where you need to be. There's no more performing, no more pretending. Just a hush, and the softest part of you waking up where no one can see, that old feeling, the urge to keep watch, to make your worth with each day's effort, grows quieter now. You can sense it floating away like dust on a sigh. The only thing left is a sense of being, simple and pure as breathing in and breathing out. Notice how your chest rises with every inhale, how your body feels heavy, more yours than it ever was. Every bit of you is allowed here. Surrounded by quiet, by softness, you don't need to prove or become. The story of the day falls away. There's safety in the not doing. There's trust